In episode 69, Phishing and Social Engineering Countermeasures, we turn to the oldest and most personal vector in cybersecurity, the art of persuasion aimed directly at people. Unlike code exploits that target software vulnerabilities, social engineering preys on human instinct, emotion, and trust. It bypasses firewalls and encryption not by breaking them, but by convincing someone to open the door willingly. The most effective defenses, therefore, combine technology with psychology, shaping environments where awareness and skepticism become habitual rather than occasional. By understanding how attackers manipulate attention and decision-making, defenders can train users to recognize deception before it reaches their inbox or their phone. Phishing and related techniques manifest across multiple communication channels, each exploiting a different context of trust. Email remains the dominant vehicle because it scales effortlessly, allowing a single campaign to reach thousands of potential victims in seconds. Voice-based variants, often called phishing, use phone calls or voicemail messages to invoke authority or urgency. Messaging and collaboration platforms, including text messages and chat applications, now extend the attack surface into personal devices and internal workspaces. Each medium invites its own assumptions about authenticity, which attackers exploit with precision. The channel changes, but the principle remains constant. Influence behavior before the target verifies reality. Psychological manipulation lies at the heart of every social engineering attack. Urgency pressures people to act before they think. Authority lends false legitimacy, and scarcity suggests opportunities that will vanish if not seized immediately. These levers work because they mirror genuine social cues that guide everyday cooperation. In isolation, none of these triggers is suspicious. In combination, they can override rational judgment. Defenders cannot rewire human nature, but they can teach recognition of these emotional hooks. Training that explains why the message feels convincing prepares users to resist not by fear, but by understanding. Pretexting and impersonation transform these levers into structured deception. The attacker crafts a believable story, a pretext that aligns with the victim's expectations. It might appear as a call from technical support requesting a password reset, an email from an executive authorizing an urgent payment, or a message from a trusted vendor seeking updated billing details. The goal is not just to steal data, but to maintain the illusion long enough for the victim to act. Impersonation may involve forged sender addresses, cloned websites, or even deep-faked voices. Each technique capitalizes on the victim's mental model of trust and routine, proving that familiarity can be weaponized. Visual deception remains a potent enabler of phishing success. Lookalike domains mimic legitimate ones with subtle character swaps, while homoglyph attacks replace letters with visually similar symbols from other alphabets. An RN pair masquerading as an M, or a Cyrillic A indistinguishable from its Latin twin. Even seasoned professionals can miss these nuances at a glance. Browser and mail clients have improved rendering cues, but no technology substitutes for the habit of verification. Users who hover over links, expand sender details, or compare domains against known baselines add a human layer of defense that automation cannot replicate. Sophisticated campaigns often unfold in stages rather than as single attempts. Attackers may start with innocuous correspondence to build rapport, liking posts, replying to messages, or referencing shared contacts, before introducing malicious requests. This gradual escalation lowers suspicion and increases compliance. Social engineering in these forms resembles long-term fraud rather than opportunistic spam. Recognizing that an attack can develop over days or weeks reinforces the need for persistent vigilance. Training should therefore emphasize not just spotting obvious red flags, but noticing subtle changes in tone or context that signal manipulation in progress. Reporting mechanisms must complement these habits by making the right action easy and fast. A report phishing button embedded in the email client, a dedicated hotline for suspicious calls, or an internal chat channel monitored by security staff all serve the same goal: capture evidence while the event is fresh. Encouragement matters as much as infrastructure. Users who fear blame hesitate to report. Reinforcing that swift reporting helps the whole organization, converts anxiety into contribution. In time, the reporting culture becomes as integral to defense as any antivirus product. Technical countermeasures filter the majority of phishing attempts before they reach users. Email gateways apply reputation scoring, content scanning, and sandbox detonation for attachments. Authentication frameworks such as Sender Policy Framework, Domain Keys Identified Mail, and Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting and Conformance, known respectively as SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, verify that messages originate from legitimate domains. Browser isolation and sandboxing technologies further contain damage when malicious links do slip through. None of these controls are perfect, but together they create a gauntlet that dramatically reduces exposure. Layered filtering, combined with user discipline, represents defense in depth at the human boundary. Process design complements technology by embedding verification steps into business workflows. Financial transactions, vendor changes, and data access requests should require out-of-band confirmation before execution. Two-person approvals for high-value transfers, callback verification for supplier updates, and centralized portals for sensitive document exchanges remove the opportunity for deception to act unchecked. These safeguards formalize skepticism into procedure, ensuring that trust is verified, not assumed. Over time, these business processes become institutional antibodies that prevent fraud from succeeding even when individuals are momentarily convinced. When incidents do occur, post-event coaching should focus on learning rather than punishment. Blaming employees for being deceived discourages transparency and drives attacks underground. Constructive debriefs that explain how the deception worked, what clues were missed, and how reporting accelerated containment create long-term improvement. Recognizing and rewarding prompt reporting, even when a click occurred, sends the message that honesty and speed matter more than perfection. A culture that treats mistakes as data points strengthens collective resilience across all levels of the organization. Simulated phishing campaigns, when conducted ethically and transparently, reinforce awareness and provide measurable insight into behavioral trends. The goal is not to embarrass, but to inform, showing employees how realistic attacks appear and how small lapses in attention can have cascading effects. Metrics from these exercises guide training content, targeting weak points rather than repeating generic warnings. Over time, organizations that pair simulations with positive reinforcement observe sustained improvement in detection rates and a gradual normalization of careful verification as everyday behavior. In the end, countering social engineering is not about eliminating risk, but about embedding skepticism into organizational DNA. Tools and filters handle volume, but culture handles persuasion. When employees expect deception as part of the digital environment, confirm requests reflexively, and feel supported in reporting suspicion, phishing loses its leverage. Lasting security emerges not from one-time warnings or fear-based training, but from a shared mindset that curiosity and caution are virtues. In that collective awareness, human nature stops being the weakest link and becomes the first line of defense. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.